Now, still on education, as thousands of matrics across the country await their results, many are grappling with anxiety, pressure and uncertainty about the future. To unpack the emotional toll, we're joined by educational psychologist Dr Daphney Mawila-Chauke from the University of Johannesburg. A very good afternoon to you, Dr Mawila-Chauke. Thank you for your time. With about 6 days to go until matric results are released, the waiting period can feel extremely overwhelming, with all sorts of emotions running wild. Why is it such an emotionally tough time for matrics?
Good afternoon, Paul, and thank you for having me. So allow me to firstly congratulate the 2025 matriculants. It has been a hard year. It wasn't easy for them to complete the year. So despite whatever outcome, I want to congratulate them. So, under normal circumstances, matric outcome opens so many doors for our learners. That's why it is accompanied with a lot of psychological problems, and one of them is anxiety, which at this moment, almost all our matriculants are facing that. Depression is also one of the issues that they're facing, but overall, holistically, their well-being is being influenced by the waiting period, and 6 weeks is still a long way to go. So we see a lot of youth navigating this process by utilizing negative coping mechanisms. And that's why it's very important to unpack this topic and understand why it is crucial for us to support them.
You talk about anxiety, and we're looking at around 6 days until these results are released. Parents and families are, in most instances, heavily invested and often just as anxious as the actual matriculant. What should parents be saying or perhaps not saying to support their children during this time?
So in terms of what parents can do to support their children, language plays a critical role. We see parents in most cases not modeling good behavior to their children. So I encourage parents to always affirm and love their children. The concept of love is very broad. It encompasses everything that parents have to do for their children. So despite whatever the outcome is, parents have to always encourage their children that they will always love them. We don't expect parents at this point to be saying things that this will be the end. I will stop loving you if you don't achieve the outcomes that we had planned together, because some of the parents plan with their children and also what to do after matric. So it's very important that parents be the model of good self-regulation, especially during this time. Parents are also facing their own anxieties.
Absolutely.
And what we also see in South Africa is that parents are also competitive with their neighbors, with the whole of South Africa. In social media, we see a lot of pressures that parents put on themselves as well as their children.
So with that, there's often pressure from the learner to make the family proud. How can learners handle that pressure in a healthy, conducive way?
The first point is for learners to know themselves and also know what is within their control. I always encourage the communities that I work with, always negotiate with children the outcomes, the expectations, I mean. Sometimes parents would want their children to go to universities while their children don't have that capacity. So look at what your child is able to do, build their strengths, and also set expectations which are in alignment with their abilities. So I will also urge parents not to compare children. As parents, we tend to do so. That why are you not like my first child? Why are you not like your cousin or your neighbor? So those are some of the challenges that we're facing in the country. As much as we have progressed a lot in terms of education in South Africa, we still have people who are facing barriers to learning. And as parents, we need to be aware of our learners and their abilities as well as their inabilities. And always consider that when we set expectations.
That's a very important point that you raised there, more so because many matrics tie their self-worth to the outcome, their results, how can learners separate their identity from their academic performance? More so as you talk about, you know, the expectations, parents wanting all children to all qualify for university, which in many instances is not the case. You mentioned the learning abilities that children are different and shouldn't be compared.
So I think the starting point here is that learners are different, and they also have to be aware of where they're coming from, their circumstances as well. We do have people who do become successful, regardless of whether they have matric or not, and that's something that we need to start emphasizing. Not everyone is will go into academic. Some people are very good with vocational options. So don't compare yourself. Always know what you can do and what you cannot do. And always remember that the outcome of your results, it's not an identity for you, but it's a way of what you have learned and what you haven't learned. And if there's a way of you going back to master what you haven't learned, that will be a brilliant option. But if that's not possible, there are also other avenues that you can explore. Matric is not only the only option to be successful in life.
Very well. Some very sound advice there. Thank you very much for that insight. Educational psychologist Dr Daphney Mawila-Chauke from the University of Johannesburg with some really sound advice. Despite the outcome, encouraging parents and guardians alike to show some encouragement and love to their young class of 2025 matriculant.